अगर मैं आपसे कहूँ टर्न ऑन दैट लाइट, सो यू बेसिकली गॉट माई इंस्ट्रक्शन। अगर यही बात मैं कंप्यूटर से कहूँ तो उसे क्या समझ आएगा? डायरेक्टली तो नहीं, बट कंप्यूटर प्रोग्रामिंग लैंग्वेज से जावा, सी प्लस प्लस और पाइथन। पाइथन क्या कंप्यूटर सिस्टम हमारा समझ पाता है? नहीं। तो फिर हम पाइथन क्यों यूज़ कर रहे हैं? कंप्यूटर हमारा मशीन कोड समझ पाता है, जैसे 0 1 0 1 1 0। 0 मीन्स स्विच ऑफ, 1 मीन्स स्विच ऑन, सिंपल। तो जब हमारे कंप्यूटर को मशीन कोड समझ में आता है तो हम उसे पाइथन लैंग्वेज के थ्रू क्यों समझा रहे हैं? क्योंकि हमें मशीन कोड समझ नहीं आती है, ये रीडेबल फॉर्मेट नहीं होता है। इसे क्या आप रीड कर सकते हैं ये क्या लिखा हुआ है, इसका मतलब क्या है? नो। सो व्हाट पाइथन इज एक्चुअली? Python is a high level interpreted programming language. Is a high level and an interpreted programming language. Then what are these? High level means a human readable simply. So let's see step by step. Python is a high level interpreted programming language known for its clean and readable syntax. It runs program like It runs programs line by line using an interpreter, making it ideal for beginners and professional alike. Then what is this interpreter? Then what is this high level, the interpret programming language? इंटरप्रेटर सिंपली वही इंटरमीडिएट स्टेज है जहाँ ये सारे काम हो रहे हैं। एक पाइथन लैंग्वेज जो कि हम जब जैसे लिखते हैं लाइक प्रिंट हेलो वर्ल्ड से मशीन कोड तक का सफ़र, ये कैसे रहेगा, कैसे काम करेगा इंटरनली, वो हम किसके थ्रू समझते हैं? इंटरप्रेटर। So interpreter language means Python code is read and executable with the help of program called interpreter. Interpreter is simply a programming system where this all internal working of this Python run code works. Okay. So let's see more in detail. सोर्स कोड स्क्रिप्ट डॉट पी वाई क्या है? जहाँ हम अपना कोड लिख रहे होते हैं, जैसे कि प्रिंट हेलो वर्ल्ड। ओके। सो देन in second phase, there is interpreter, the C Python. Python is basically built through C language. Okay. And then we finally get the running program output. So how this interpreter actually look likes? We have any code like .py file. In this we have written print hello world. Then at interpreter level, what will happen? Interpreter is basically a C Python. Python is written in C language. So what it will do basically, it compiles your code. It firstly parses your code, then compiles your code, then it a bytecode for that, and then it goes through Python virtual machine. So what are these basically? Again, it's a confusion, correct? So let's see more in detail that how this interpreter are actually working. Okay. So you have written like print hello world, then what's the journey between the print hello world to the machine that understood 0101 like machine code learning, and then your output. So internally how this is working? It's too confusing, correct? So let's see more in detail. As we can see in this diagram, we have written some script or some basic program, say like print hello world or You can take example of this like you have given one number 1, or you can take this example like a equals to 10, b equals to 10, then print sum of it. Correct? So this is basically you written a code in one file that you, the extension for that is .py. Basically it's a Python file. Okay. So this is your source file. First, this source file goes to compilation, then bytecode generation, and then the execution of the actual program. That's a Python virtual machine. So let's see. You have written some code. This is human readable, correct? At compilation time, what will happen actually? It check the syntax error. First thing is this is a readable format that you easily read, but this computer will not understand what is this you have written. So when your code compile, basically your source file, this code compiles. So at compilation time, what will be checked? Like your syntax error, correct? For some programming, for different programming language, they have their some different syntax. Okay. And for Python, there is some different syntax. So suppose this program you have written with some syntax that we will check later that how to write the syntax for a program. Correct. So you have written a one basic syntax like a equals to 10, b equals to 10 and print some a of b. Okay. So at compilation time, this file we check through the syntax error, some lexical analysis and semantic analysis. Then your bytecode generation. Bytecode is simply a 0101 that you will see, that you will able to see this in diagram as well. Through .pyc file is created and this goes to you Python virtual machine. So what this virtual machine, this Python virtual machine reads, this reads you simply the bytecode. Bytecode is the 01 that you have given. So what this bytecode simply converts to your machine level instruction, and then our OS or the CPU handle these executions. Okay. जैसा कि हम लोगों ने देखा था, इंटरप्रेटर वन इज सी पाइथन और PyPyF. And what are these different type of interpreter? C Python is simply a line by line instruction executed, but PyPy it's a jittering time compiler. Means what? It compiles hot code to machine code. Then what is this hot code and the machine code? So basically you are too confused in that in this. Okay. So suppose if you in our code or some logic we use like if you want to create a table of 2, then again in a loop what you do like 2 ones are 2, 2 twos are 4, 2 threes are 6, 2 fours are 8, correct? So this is a loop and this actually execute again and again. Means what? Your bytecode execute line by line. If the C Python interpreter will be used, then what will happen? Then it execute your code line by line. Means execute your bytecode line by line. Then it may be a slow. Okay. So through JIT or line PyPy, this do the process, this type of process like human in some loop executing like truth table 10 times. Correct? So again and again you are iterating. So PyPy what do? It do the faster process. You got my point? Faster process कैसे? ये JIT कंपाइलर समझता है इसको, ये मैच करता है एक्चुअली कि लूप कहाँ पे हो रहा है. कोई टास्क है, कोई रिपीटेड टास्क है जो रिपीटेड हो रहा है, वो डिटेक्ट करता है और उस कोड को डायरेक्ट मशीन कोड में कन्वर्ट कर देता है जिससे कि fast process हो जाती है. Got it. So this is basically the basic fundamental how your Python code execute internally. Okay. So we will check more in detail. So again we can see, we can just summarize like some source code you have given. Then this source code goes to your interpreter and then your output come actually. Then what this interpreter there are different tasks internally. Like first your source code, basically your print hello world, it parse and compile, then through bytecode is generated, then it goes to your Python virtual machine that will execute your code line by line or directly through some other interpreter, say py. We can, okay, so I will discuss in the second diagram. Let's see the other phase. So when you use a interdo, means what? You have a one code, right? So your source code dot p is that you have written in .py file like print hello world. That code will compile and goes to byte, they generate a bytecode. Then what? It goes to you the Python virtual machine that we have discussed earlier, that it basically uses so bytecode and interprets and execute each instruction one by one. Then you uh, then that machine code pass to you, pass to the CPU. So at the end you will get your result. And we have talked about two interpreter. One is C Python and other is like PY, the JIT compiler. So by do so as we have given some source code like hello world, then it goes to your parse and compilation phase, then bytecode generated, then execution will happen for this over here like Python virtual machine plus JIT compiler. Like as as we have discussed earlier, like when we use like JIT compiler, then it boost or fast your process of doing a task. How? Interpreter code bytes, interprets code byte code, and JIT just in time compiler, hot function loops, identify hot functions loop, compiles hot bytecode to machine code directly and execute it. So what is hot code? Hot code is simply nothing that we have discussed earlier, that in a, suppose we write any script in, we are writing two table and two table again repeatedly again and again, 2 ones are 2, 2 twos are 4, 2 threes are 6. So there we find a pattern like, so where we find like it's a iterative process, like we are going some loop. So like py find some loop, the repetitive task that we do in, so that is simply a hot code or the function loops direction. Okay, through that it converts directly to machine code and the CP execution will happen. So basically, when this convert bytecode to machine code directly, then therefore it becomes fast. Okay, but so one question is there, like when to use interpreter like C Python and PY. So just search for that. When we have to use which one and correct. So let's see again. You have given a print hello world. Then there is Python interpreter. What it that we have seen earlier, as we have discussed in a long way. Then there is Python virtual machine that execute your bytecode. Then there is operating system that handle your bytecode, and then with the pure device drivers is basically at the end what you get the machine readable language. Machine readable language, the machine code 011010 something. So by this, I think the picture is too clear what is happening at what time. So if you want to see the full diagram again of the whole process, how this internally is working, so let's go down over here. Here is the full explanation has been given and we have discussed as well. Okay. So this is the best example that you kept in mind. This will help you a lot for your concept and the exams for your universities and all. Okay. So let's see some definition on it on Python that we have understood right now. Now, if you read such some content, the points that I have described, it is easily understood to you all. Like Python is a high level language, it's an interpreted programming language. Okay. The Python first compiles the source code to bytecode and then Python interpreter executes the bytecode. So human Python code, then bytecode, then executed Python interpreter simply. So when you run any file, like any script of like say you have earlier written like Python, as earlier you have written like print hello world, then how this will execute? We use such type of command say Python script.py. Then what this do actually? Python is simply what? Start the Python interpreter. Now you got it. What is this interpreter and why we write Python? And here you write your script file like hello world. Okay. And here I have mentioned what is C Python. Okay. And what is py and just in time compilation that we have discussed earlier and the hot code as well. So if you read some basic two-line definition, you will understood more in depth. I think this is enough for the starting that how you should start your Python language development, and later we can check more concept in more detail.